Hi students, welcome to our physics class now. So in this class we are going to learn about impulse. So what about impulse now? A little topic clearly, so most usable in a laws of motion chapter for 9th standard students and also 10 plus 1 students, intermediate first year students. Important topic. It is denoted by letter I. It is a vector quantity. The direction of impulse is same as the direction of force. The direction of impulse is same as the direction of force. It is a vector quantity. Its dimensional formula is ml t power minus 1. Dimensional formula of impulse. Now coming to definition of impulse. So the product of force and time t is called impulse, denoted by I. So then I is equals to product means multiplication and force F time t. So this is a formula for impulse. I is equals to F into t. CGS unit of impulse is F is expressed in dynes and time is in second, dyne seconds. SI unit of impulse is, in SI system the force is expressed in newtons and time is in seconds. Newton seconds. Newton second is the SI unit of force. SI unit of impulse. CGS unit of impulse is dyne second. Now the force of the impulse called impulsive force. The force of impulse is called impulsive force. So the force present in the impulse is a impulsive force. So the impact of impulsive force, impact of impulsive force can be decreased by increasing stopping time of a moving body. So when you increase the stopping time of a moving body, for example, a fielder in the cricket ground, and this is the fast moving ball in the air. So it is a moving body, ball is a moving body. So this fielder is trying to catch the ball which is moving with certain speed, but this time he pulls his hands back. So he is pulling his hands back to catch the ball safely, means that he is allowing the ball to travel for some more time in the downward direction, means that indirectly he is increasing stopping time. Thereby the impact of impulsive force on his hands decreases. Now he doesn't get hurt. He is a safe, he can catch the ball safely. By this one, the change of momentum in the body will be decreased, and also the impulsive force impact on his hands will be decreased. That is why, to decrease the impact of impulsive force, we must increase the stopping time of a moving body. So here we are taken an example, the catch by the fielder in the cricket ground. Consider this ball is a moving body with certain speed, and this person is a fielder ready to catch the ball. So when the ball is coming towards his hands, he is pulling his hands back, means that indirectly he is letting the ball to travel for some more time, for some more distance in the downward direction. Indirectly he is increasing the stopping time, so thereby the impact of impulsive force can be decreased. So this is a way of decreasing the impact of impulsive force by increasing stopping time of a moving body. Students, now we have various expressions for showing the formula of impulse. So now, what are the various formula for impulse? Formula for impulse. Formula for impulse. So from the definition we know, students, I is equals to F into T. One. And second one, we know that from the Newton's second law of motion, F is given as m into a, mass into acceleration. This implies impulse is equals to, in the place of F we can write m into a into t. It is a second formula for impulse. And third one, we also know that acceleration a is equals to rate of change of velocity v minus u by t. So this implies we can write I is equals to m into a, means we can write v minus u by t, where v is a final velocity and u is initial velocity. So into t will be cancelled. This implies I is equals to mv minus mu. It is a third formula for impulse. We know that final momentum of a body P2 is equals to mass into final velocity, and initial momentum of a body P1 is equals to mass into initial velocity. This implies we can write I is equals to P2 minus P1. MV means we can write P2, MU means we can write a P1. So, or it can also be written as I is equals to dp, that is impulse is equals to dp, but I is also equal to f into t. So this implies I is equals to f into t is equals to dp. So dp is a nothing but change in the momentum. Change in the momentum, students, change in the momentum, nothing but difference between final momentum and initial momentum. P2 is final momentum, that is a linear momentum. We can also call this one as a linear momentum. P2 is a final linear momentum, P1 is a initial linear momentum, but momentum is a product of mass and velocity. About the momentum, we explained in the previous videos what is the momentum, what is the linear momentum, what are its units, what are the formula for what are the different expressions for the momentum, linear momentum, clearly explained in the previous videos. You can see and you can understand about the linear momentum. So I is equals to f into t. From the Newton's second law of motion, we are deriving all these different formula. I is equals to m into a into t, where a is a v minus u by t. Then on substituting this one in the place of a, we can get mv minus mu. and where mv is a final linear momentum, mass into final velocity p2, and initial linear momentum, mass into initial velocity p1. Then on substituting these two, you can get I is equals to p2 minus p1. But p2 minus p1 is nothing but difference between final linear momentum and initial linear momentum, which is given as dp. So I is equals to dp, but I is equals to f into t. That is why I is equals to f into t is equals to dp. But this formula can also be derived from calculus method. Now the derivation of this formula by the calculus method from Newton's second law of motion, students. So derivation of I is equals to f into t is equals to dp from Newton's second law of motion by calculus method. So by calculus method, how can we show that f into t is equals to dp? But product of force and time is called impulse, which is also equal to change in the linear momentum of the body dp, which is nothing but p2 minus p1. So now let a constant force, capital F, acts on a body for the time interval from 0 to t seconds, from 0 to 2 seconds, t seconds, producing the change in linear momentum, in the body from P1 to P2. So let a constant force F is acting on a body for the time interval from 0 seconds to t seconds. But during this time, so it produces the change in the linear momentum in the body from P1 to P2. That is, initial momentum produced in the body is P1 and final momentum goes to P2. So for the time interval from 0 to t seconds. So now we are taking these are as the limits, initial and final limits, initial and final linear momentum. So by the calculus method, how can we derive the formula for impulse, which is I is equals to f into t is equals to dp. So we know from Newton's second law of motion, from Newton's second law of motion, from Newton's second law of motion, net force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Net force, capital F, a constant force, capital F, is acting on a body for the time interval 0 to t seconds, producing the change in the momentum dp, which is from p1 to p2. And you can write this one as f is equals to k of dp by dt. But k value in SI system, k value, that is a proportionality constant k, its value in SI system is taken as 1. Then Newton's second law of motion can be written as dp by dt. So f is equals to dp by dt. Now by the cross multiplication, we can write this one, f into dt is equals to dp. Now integrating on both sides, integrating on both sides with the limits for time interval 0 to t and limits of the change in the linear momentum p1 to p2. So this implies integral 0 to t f into dt is equals to integral p1 to p2 dp. So F is a constant force, students. So then you can take out this one as a common, and integral of dt is a t and limits 0 to t, and integral of dp is a p and p1 p2 limits. So now f into it can be written as upper limit. We want to substitute this upper limit in this place t minus lower limit 0 is equals to, it is in the place of p we want to substitute upper limit p2 minus p1. So this implies t minus 0 t f into t, and it will be p2 minus p1. But you know, students, f into t is nothing but impulse, product of force and time. Product of force and time is called impulse. So that is why it can be written as I is equals to f into t is equals to p2 minus p1 means change in the linear momentum, which can be written as dp. So by the calculus method using Newton's second law of motion, we can also derive the formula for impulse, students. That's all about impulse formula, impulse units. Thank you.